Good morning, everyone. How is everyone doing today? Hope you are having a wonderful start to your Friday. I myself am in a great mood this morning. Everything seems to be going well this morning. No issues. No rushing around or running around trying to get things set up. Good morning, Mr. Ground Fog. Thank you for being here, sir. Bright and early. So today we are back to our normal scheduled program with the drop point. So that should go well. Get to see some new knives coming out this week. I don't know. Let's see. Drop point. Yeah. All right. I'm trying to get sorted here. Keep it scale, stupid. There's no shame in second. Hope you're doing well this morning, sir. Talking to you in the middle of the night gave me a topic to discuss this morning on the video. Morning, TC Blades. So last night, I had some bangers in my pocket. I had my Pioneer in my front pocket, which I'm loving. This thing is a laser beam. It is so sharp. Love the blade grind on it. Love the milling. Love the comfort, and the action is second to none. So I had that in my front pocket, and then my other banger in my back pocket was my Tacom. I believe Pete said that he got confirmation that the price will be a lot higher than what I paid for this. So I got it for $220 at Blade Show, and he thinks it might be $270 or $280 when he actually releases it. So that's cool. I'm glad I got a deal on that. Good morning, Knives Are Life. Morning, sir. So yeah, that was a pretty solid pockets last night. And then last but not least, I had this. Give me just a second. I've got to let's see, IV cam. So for the first night, I did have my scout carry. So I carried my my Vosteed. Whoops, sorry, I'm crooked. But I did carry this last night. I was cool with it. It worked well. I didn't stab myself once getting it back in its place, and you really can't see it. So that turned out good. So I'm going to try to continue doing that to get used to it, to always have a scout carry knife. The good thing about that is both my pockets they look empty. Good morning, William. Hope you're doing well this morning. Yeah, William, I don't know. We're not big enough that anybody has bought any memberships for anyone else yet, so hopefully we'll get there at some point. Talking to Mr. Keep It Scale Stupid during the night, I realized that not everyone knows all the different lock types on knives. So I thought we would go over some lock types and look at some different ones. But first, whoops, let me turn off my phone. People are responding to my pocket check post on knives this morning. But let's see, Firefox, Drop Point. Let's go look at some new drops this morning. Get that out of the way early. So as you can see, we are back. 612. There's the Bladeology podcast on there if you've never listened to it. I believe Pete was talking about somebody being on there. We're going to start with the folding knives. So TRM has got a tag along. Okay, so I lied. We're going to go down here and start with folding knives. So it looks like, let's see, Monday this comes out. Mazarin Cutlery. William, there's probably 20. Probably 20 or something like that. I sent him a link to at least 13 different ones. But there's probably about 20 different locks. I would say. So what are we looking at here? We're looking at the Mazarin Cutlery 490 Summit. So this looks like Italian, if I've got my language correct. I bet I could translate it somehow. Right here, Italian to English. Okay, possibly not. Aha. There we go. Summit knife is a result of the collaboration of one of our dear customers. Draft. Magna Cut. Fat carbon. Price looks good on it. That's some nice fat carbon. Looks like a pretty comfortable looking little knife there. Got some different patterns on the fat carbon. Let's see what we got. Whoops. That was the wrong. There we go. A better look at it. I'm not sure if it is a regular plunge lock or a top actuated liner. Let's see. Can we tell? I think it might just be a plunge lock. So that's two locks right off the rip there. A regular plunge lock button lock, or a top actuated liner lock, or a top actuated frame lock. So that's actually three different kinds that look like a button. Yeah, fat carbon is a, yes, kind of like a copyright style that someone makes. All right, next we have the Arcane Designs Nebula Red Plexus, and that comes out today at 10 a.m. As soon as this broadcast ends, this knife will be released. And it is a big boy. 8.3 inches overall, 3.56 inch blade. This is a frame lock with a steel lock bar insert. You can see the frame lock there. Super cool knife. Arcane does some wild designs. They have one that is not so wild, I believe, that I do like. let's see. Look at their designs one more time. So let's see. The automaton is probably their most normal looking knife, and I like it a lot. I don't like the holes in the blades. I don't like the crazy blade shapes. The Creature would probably be my second favorite, or maybe the Plexus, but that's got a hole in the blade. Fixed blade. Yeah, Arcane's just a little too wild for me, but I do like that automaton. So yeah, the automaton is, and you can get new pivot collars for it. That is their most regular looking knife. I do really like it. Good morning, Pete. Alright, what is next here? We got the Tango Jack coming out today also at 1 p.m. Central. That is a nice knife. I do like it. I like the full titanium version. This version right here. Super cool knife. Love the blade grind. Man, if I hadn't bought so many knives this week, I might pick this up today. But as it stands, I'll probably have to wait and grab it on the secondary market. I've bought probably 10 knives this week, and I need to slow down a little bit. I like the blue one too. So another kind of lock we haven't really talked about is a bolster lock. This one looks like it's a frame lock still behind the but it might be a bolster lock. I think it's just a frame lock behind the side. Alright, Ragnarok V1 or Mach 1. Did that say Mach 1? No, it says V1, V2, and V4. So he's coming out with, he's got some models that are going to come out today. Is that right? 6/13? Yeah, tonight at 5 o'clock. He's going to be dropping some more V1s, some more V2s, and some V4s. I'm guessing these models possibly. I sure do like that V1 plain Jane one. Beautiful knives. Yeah, that's the stovepipe. I would that would definitely be a knife that I would get from Knife Swap. I couldn't imagine paying $380 for one. That's crazy. Yeah, I would definitely go here. And let's see. One sold 3 days ago for $330. I don't know if it's sold. Actually, it's still available for $330 First owner, never sharpened, comes with pouch and papers. I love this crazy looking thing, but it's just too big in the pocket and in the hand for my style. So let's see a picture of it. There it is in the middle. There's a video of it. So you could get that one for $300 today, because it's listed for $330 and it hasn't sold yet. So if I was going to get one, that's where I would have got it, and I'd have offered him $300. He's got some nice knives for sale. Couple of cool pins. Anyway, oh, it's all good, Joe. You can find one. Yeah, that's fine. At least you get a brand new one. It's all yours. All right, NCC Mach 1. We already saw that one. Beautiful knives. HMC has got some new transients coming out today. 2.9 V3. Super cool looking knife. Oh, no, yeah, but you got a brand new one. It's all yours. It's all good. Transient sure is a pretty knife. All right. And then live already, the Lab Checkered Aluminum. Wow, I really like that one, and that price is nice. Pete, should I scoop that up? There's one left. I think I would love that slip joint. Man, that's a nice looking slip joint. Dang it. There's one left and somebody's about to buy it. I know they are. It's got a super deep carry clip on it. As you can see. Well, it's kind of thick actually at the back there. Man, that's a nice looking knife for 95 bucks. Free shipping on orders over 100. Yep. It's not a slip joint. Oh, I didn't pay attention. Is it not? What is it? Can't see it. Are you sure it's not? Because I don't see a lock. What kind of lock is it then? Because I don't see a... Well, guess we'll check it out here. It's a front flipper. That's a pretty knife for 95 bucks. 154 cm. Aha! Nested liner lock. Nice. That cleans up the lines of it. Yeah, that's a super cool looking little knife. Yeah, I like that nested liner. Yeah, that's a super cool looking little knife. Yeah, too bad I can't anno it, Joe. I don't have the chemicals and stuff to do aluminum. Alright, well that was a good... I'm gonna bookmark that one just because. Where are my bookmarks? Bookmarks, show bookmarks toolbar. There we go. Throw that down there. Alright. Beans Blades, Javelin. DM for info. Now, why did that plugin not work? The image downloader plugin for the main. See, why is it not working? Web copy. Alright, I bet if I take off this crap, it might. Yeah, there we go. So that's what it was. Oh, no, I put it on a deep search. Whoops. I went one level deeper. I don't know why this plugin sucks. So we're gonna grab another one real quick because I hate not being able to open some images. So let's see which one has the best rating. All right. Image downloader for Firefox. There we go. Alright, let's try this one out. See if it works. Because it's nice to be able to... Yes, there we go. Now it's actually... Well, save as. Nope, that was the whole page. Y'all bear with me for 1 second. Why are these not loading up? It says searching. It says finished. It's not showing the images, but they're there. So that is weird. Wonder why it's not showing the images. Oh well. Seems like Instagram. I mean, it's real easy to download Instagram images, but having a browser plug-in, that other one worked until recently. So being able to open the picture full screen on Instagram is way cooler. So I'm going to remove both of these. Let me try Picture Downloader and see what it says. Yeah, image is going to work better. That's the one I had. Let's try this one. Download all images. Alright. And then we'll move on after this, I swear. Alright, download all images. Yeah, it is showing them all this time at least, or it's downloading them all. Wow, it's got all the ads and everything. Which one is the actual post though? Yeah, this one might not be working either. Huh. I wonder where it just saved all those stupid images. All images. Format. Oh, it's zipping the files. And it's still not showing previews for any of these, so must be because it's Firefox or something. Alright, let's move on. Sorry guys. Morning Waylon. Morning Jake. Alright, back to the knife drops. Sorry I got sidetracked. The Raiden R2, of course, is live. Let's see, Hayworth Handmade Mako V2. That's a different looking little knife. It's got a recurve though. Yeah, that one's different for sure. Bullnose straight razor. We've seen this one. F3 compact frag. We've seen that one. Murray custom knife and tool. The Gen 2. Wow, that's a pretty knife. Frame lock. It looks a lot like my like a Laconico Jasmine I've got. Here's a double detent Gen 2. They must be sold out, or yeah, because I don't see either one of those. The button lock or the double detent Gen 2. Let's see. Oh, there it is. There's the double detent one. That's a pretty cool looking knife too. It looks, yeah, it does look like a frame lock, but it's a double detent. There's no middle stop, so you can flick it. But it's built to look like a frame lock, but it's a double detent. It's pretty wild. That's a nice knife. I think I'm going to bookmark it too, just because it's different. Whoops, let me go back and see the button lock version. The button lock is right here. That's a pretty knife. 3.125 inches. Nice milling. I like the blade grind. That is a company I am not familiar with. So that's cool. It's always good to find a new knife. And I don't know why it's I don't like that extension either. That one just downloads them all, saves them somewhere. I said I was done, but Image Eye. There we go. Let's try that one. See what it looks like. So if I click on it here, what do we get? Aha! Seems to work. We can highlight it and then hit download image. Boom. Highlight it. Oh. And it's downloading them back there in the background. I don't know what that is. Alright. So that will work, but will it work on Instagram? That's the real trick. So we go to an Instagram post. Like this one from Pete. Go to laid off Pete. We go to Pete's post. We hit the button, image eye. And no, the only two images it found were some kind of weird. Wow, that's a crazy image. Is that one of your images, Pete? I wonder if I do it on this page if it'll find them. It found a couple of them. And it found them full size too, so that's nice. Did that just download today? Yeah. So it downloaded the full-size version of one of his pictures, but I don't know why it picked a random... It picked this picture right here, which is actually a video. So that's weird. Looks like you had paint all over it. Nice pick today, Pete. Yeah, I guess I should like it, huh? Double click it. Click it. Hit the heart. There, I liked it. Alright, back to what we were doing. Gavco, gnarly. Oh, man. Gnarly Nurse. 825 shipped. Gavco really does his thing, doesn't he? I bet that knife's comfortable. Alright, is this going to find this image? No. Why does it find them random other images? Like, why will it let me open this image full size and see his picture? But that's not the one that's on this page. Oh, it might be. No. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that one shows a couple of images now, but it does show them full size at least. See, that's how you should be able to look at images on Instagram. The fact that you can't click on this image and make it any bigger than this right here is silly, when you should be able to make it that big. Really get in there and see it. Yeah, I don't know why they do that, because you should be able to full screen this image, but you can't. And you can't right click on it. Won't let you. And then this image downloader is not finding all of them. It's finding just some random couple of pictures. That's weird too. They've tried to block it. Aha. Maybe this will fix it. Nope. Didn't fix it. Oh well. We tried. Alright. Book spots. Urban EDC, Urban Isurus. What are we looking at here? Love that blade shape and the satin finish on it. That's a pretty knife. I love that blade shape with the thumb ramp, hard put, like, got the poon going on, got a big sharpening choil. That's a beautiful knife. I have not yeah, Joe, but a screenshot still just keeps the same quality as the small little picture it's on screen. It doesn't show you the high quality image like I just clicked on a minute ago. But that's a beautiful knife. Yeah, a duck with a... It kind of looks like a Laconico a little bit too. And that is a clean looking knife. It's an integral too. Wow. All right then. Doing their thing. Yeah. So you can get the pre-order on the regular one, $369. Is that an integral? Yeah. So that's the version I like. It's even cheaper. That is a cool knife. TC. TC found us a new knife. New integral. What a beautiful knife. And I don't need I would bead blast the hardware, make it silver so it matches the knife, and then it'd look really good. Sorry I'm sticking on this knife for a minute, but I like it. I really like the back of it. I love how it's solid all the way. Integrals are just clean. Yeah, the miso is okay. That's somebody else who needs to redo their website, is Urban EDC. Alright. Uh-oh, Mr. Mister has a new one called the Titan. I think we might have seen it last week. So there's a different lock type. It's called an interlock mechanism. It's a coil spring based. Oh, that reminds me. I tried to bust out some of the different lock types that we can look at here in a minute. I need to grab another one out of here that's different. Which is that coil lock, crossbar lock, which is not an Omega Spring crossbar lock. Which is this one. Whoops. That's not it. It's this one. This is a new lock type. I would like to see how this spring works. So can we find the Mr. Titan and see a video of the lock mechanism? Titan prototype. Here we go. Now let's see if we can get a look at the lock really quick.
Well, hello YouTube, it's me, Tri-State.
From Tri-State.
Clean. Get our...
Was that the Aeon?
Mr. Designs. I just unboxed this absolute beauty. Pre-orders open now. The Aeon.
Yeah, the Aeon. I've got to have one of those. That's...
See what I'm saying? Just 2 screws holding the whole thing together.
That's one of my... I've got to have one. I almost bought one a month ago.
In here. My favorite. What do you...
Let's get into it.
Yo, no
oh, nice.
Shot. What?
It's got like a shark lock and a crossbar lock.
Okay.
It's called the interlock.
Okay.
Nice.
This is the Titan. Mr. Designs Titan, made by Best Tech. That is a behemoth. That's a beast of a knife. Thumb studs, magna cut on the blade, textured titanium handles. Very interesting take on the wire clip.
I gotta have some Mr. Knives. I think that's my next brand I'm gonna focus on.
But that's interesting. I like that a lot. Blade tucked nicely in there, and we
that's milled titanium. It looks like a wire clip.
The interlock.
Oh wow!
Very reminiscent of that winter I just checked out, right? So it kind of works like a scorpion lock or like the shark lock, but it's also like an axis lock. I'm assuming there's a coil spring in here, which A+. Okay. I didn't know. I didn't know we were getting frisky. It's a big...
Alright.
Nice. Beautiful drop point. Nice swedge on there. Oh, Lord have mercy. A lot of internal milling to keep the weight down. Lock. That's that it covers the blade spine right there. It comes over it as an additional level of lockiness.
That's super cool.
I just put my schmutz on. Yeah, it's big.
The big boy.
Hot hack.
That pattern is cool though.
And really well balanced. Doesn't have a weight since the weight. Soft lockup is crazy solid. You know, I'm not really sure how all this is working, but yeah, I'm not a doctor.
He's not going to take it apart, of course.
I'd like to see part up.
But super cool. Thank you, Mr. Tri-State, for showing us that knife. Super cool lock. Yeah, it's definitely my style, man. Mr. is somebody I'm about to just start going in on because I want an Aeon bad. I mean, there's like 5 or 6 of their knives that I like. But the Aeon is super clean. Like, I mean, that is a clean knife. Just got that little corner cut out for the flipper tab, and that is it. Like, his designs are something else. Does he make a integral yet? Don't think so, but I'm sure it's coming. Let's see. I like the Zero. I like the Ronin. I think has a recurve maybe. No. Yeah, I don't like the Ronin as much as some of the other ones, but it's still a cool looking knife. So right now, I guess all I really need is the Aeon and the Titan. And I kind of like this one. That's just not my blades type. But I do like the looks of it. That front flipper. It looks like a Megaron a little bit. That's super cool. That's Pete's blades type. I wish they had a cipher that was full titanium, because I do like it. It reminds me of the TRMs a little bit, especially that top one. It looks kind of like an atom, but I just don't like carbon fiber. So, all right, cool. We've seen all these. The Pictus. I should have grabbed one of them. I guess I still could. The Stonewash version. Not my blades type though. Like, yeah. I think I'll wait on something else. It's not my blade style. His first was an integral. Okay, I wasn't paying attention. The what? Mr. Designs Integral. The Zero. First pivotless titanium button lock. Pivotless. Aha. The Zero is... Oh, no, it's not an integral. It's two pieces. It just looks like it. You can see the line down through there. But how is it pivotless? Because I see a pivot. I'm confused. Bestech's doing their thing. With its pivotless body, lightweight materials, and integrated corner flipper, the Zero the Ronin is the Ronin. I didn't look at the back of it. Is it an integral? Aha! There we go. So it is an integral. Like I said, that's just, I don't know that I like the look of it when it, especially when it's closed. It's crazy how much it matters when a knife is open and closed, because I like it when it's open, but the closed look, I just don't like the look of it. But I do like it when it's open. It's pretty wild how things fit together like that. Alright, the new Slim, Golden Design Works. Yeah, I love my Golden Design Works knife. I like the fact that they offer the different, the 4 different styles, 2 different colors, and 2 different. They offer 2 different blade finishes on this one. So hopefully they'll start doing that. I got to get a caliber at some point. Because I do like it. But they don't offer those 2 different blade types on this one. They just offer the 2 different colors and the 2 different patterns. The subcaliber, I guess, I've got a standard. Yeah, so what's the blade length on? Here we go. 7.5 overall and 3.36. And then 8.625, yeah. With 3.875, yeah. I need a full-size caliber. Wow, that's a big boy. Let's go look and see, because I know they pop up on Knife Swap. Sub caliber. Here's a caliber 5 days ago. It sold for $195. All right, that's a clean. I want to get one with the lines on it because my standard has the other pattern. So I will take the ZT, YOLO ZT, YOLO caliber. Start chat. I will buy that caliber from you when you get tired of it. Let's see, did we get a response? Oh. Would you be willing to sell the PM2 warning you bought a few months back? Sold it a couple of weeks ago. Sorry, man. Would you be willing to sell the PM2 warning you bought a few months back? Possibly, but I'd have to think on it. I like that thing. Did you comment on my Native 5 post because you had one for sale trade, or just because that was my most recent post? Just to get your attention. So we might have a bite on that PM2 warning. And who did I just message? This guy? Did I send that message through? Because I don't see it. No. Oh, yeah, it did go through. Alright, so now I'm going to find his post and comment on one so that he knows I'm serious. It looks like he sells knives too, so maybe he will get tired of it. And I will scoop up the caliber. Alright, so that's cool. So I don't remember what he paid for it, Pete, but we got a bite on one. All right, so back to the table we go to discuss. Let me make sure the drop point. Everything else on the drop point we've seen before as far as folders. I'm not going to go through the fixed blades today. If y'all want to go check out the drop point, you know, you can sign up for the newsletter. I'm not going to go through every fixed blade. So, different lock types. Mr. Keep It Scale Stupid had that question during the night. And as y'all have heard, my favorite for the most part is a good old frame lock. So both of these are frame locks. Easiest way to tell a frame lock is it's got the cutout on the clip side. Pretty good sign that it's a frame lock. Now there are some exceptions. So I'm not going to say everything with the cutout is a frame lock, but just glancing at a knife, if you see that, more than likely it's a frame lock. The truffles is good. It is a center pivot lock, button lock, and I think it's got a design flaw and will fail eventually. I mean, it definitely will fail. It's not going to last 50 years. Whereas I bet the mechanism in this Riot center button lock will last 50 years. And this one just feels so much smoother. Everything about this button lock feels smoother. And I bet this one will last 50 years, possibly. I don't see anything failing from it. It doesn't have any design flaws. So all three of these are button locks, are center pivot button locks, and they're all three different mechanisms. In fact, yeah. So on the back of the Riot, you can see on the blade here, it doesn't have that little cutout that the Ankylo does. So you can see that cutout on the Ankylo. That's where the lock goes into it. On this Riot, it's got a different kind of lock mechanism, but it's still a center pivot lock, and this one has a third mechanism. So all three of these might look like center pivot locks. Yeah, keep it scale stupid. There's a bunch of different locks, buddy. So then you have just a standard crossbar lock knife, and there's two varieties of it for the most part. My clones, I don't think I've got many clones in this box. Let me see if I got something behind me here. Whoa. What just happened? That was weird. Sorry about that. Let me see what I'm looking at here. Crossbar lock knife. Okay, so this is a good example of just a regular crossbar lock with Omega springs. So this is a crossbar lock that has Omega springs, which means it has those little springs on each side that are shaped like the Omega symbol from the Greek alphabet. But then there's also this kind of crossbar lock, which has a coil spring up in the back of it that you can see back up in there. So it does not have the two little springs on either side like this one does. So that's two different crossbar locks. And then you've got some newer types. You asked me what one of the newer ones were. So Winter Blades is the first knife to not use a spring mechanism for the lock, and it just uses magnets. So whereas pretty much every other knife in here has some kind of spring involved, whether it's a frame lock to where this is bent inward and is always adding a little spring pressure to lock it up, and you have to push it against the springiness of the frame lock to get it to unlock. So that's a spring type mechanism because it's just a piece of metal under load that is a spring type. All of these have spring mechanisms in them. You can feel the spring when you push the button. The crossbar locks have springs because the Omega springs and the coil spring. So pretty much every knife before Winter Blades had a spring type, and this knife has no springs in it whatsoever. It uses magnets to pull the lock up into its place. So this is pulled up there by magnets instead of a spring, and when you let it go, the magnet pulls it right back. So there's no spring in here, it's just magnetic. So this is one of the more innovative type newer locks. And then you have button locks, which I don't have on the table yet. but you have a couple of main variety different button locks, which are, well, actually there's probably like 3, I guess. So you have a regular button lock like this, which is a plunge lock, which means that this little thing, the plunger goes in and out, and it interfaces with the blade and keeps the blade from locking. Yes, Nick, I've been carrying my TR3. I carried it last week to work, actually. Good morning, Stacy. But this is a standard plunge lock button lock, and then there are button locks that go across and push the liner out of the way, or go across and push the frame out of the way. So there's 3 different locks just from a regular button lock. And then I haven't even gotten into the cold steel locks, but I kind of wanted to yeah, Stacy, I agree. They are fidgety and fun. And he also has a knife, which is the Sever. So he has one. This is basically the same mechanism as that one, but he also has this mechanism, which is a crossbar lock magnetic, where it's got them on both sides. And it's also got the little like Atlas lock kind of access back here. And this one, I believe, does have a spring, but the magnet is still what holds this. Actually, that might be a spring. Yeah, I think this one does have a spring, whereas these 2 don't. That's titanium and M390. And that's aluminum and M390. I was trying to find some different lock types. So what 2 lock types do you have? Keep it scale, stupid. You have a frame lock, because the Doberman is a frame lock, isn't it? No, it's a nested liner lock. So you've got the Doberman, which is a nested liner lock, and then you've got a. Do you have a frame lock knife? Do you have one that the frame is what locks it up? I want to get inside a couple of these right here and show you all the differences between them. Oh, so your Doberman is what's called a nested liner lock. So when you have a liner lock knife, let me just show you a liner lock knife. Oh, and I didn't even mention the compression lock. So you've got a whole different lock here, which is kind of like a liner, but it's on the back of the knife instead of the front of the knife. So this is a compression lock. So that's a whole different lock system. And then this is a compression lock. This is a button lock. But this one, okay, so this is a good example of a button actuated top liner. So where you've got the button lock on this one, so what I was showing about this one has the little plunge lock. So that plunger right there interacts with the blade, and that's what locks it up. Well, if you have one that's a button lock, so this one has a liner on the inside and the button is attached to that liner. So when you push it, it's just like a liner lock knife, except it's on the back side of the blade. It's at the top of the blade instead of down here on the bottom. That's why it's called a top. So the Vision FG is the Snex lock. So it's attached with a screw. So there's a little screw. There's a screw on the back of this liner that is attached to this button. It's called the Snex lock, from the designer who made the Snex. Let me see if I can find my Vision, because that's a whole nother lock. Civivi, let's see. CRKT, Syncut. Alright, where are my stupid Syncut Civivis? There's my Kubies. There's those. Uh-oh, knocked something off. Still not seeing them. Hold on, guys. Give me just a second. I'm digging around for knives. You know how that goes. Dang it, why am I not finding it? Oh, here's another lock. So this is kind of like the, aha, here we go. So we got, so keep it scale stupid. You got two different locks that are like this. The Snex lock is this lock, the Vision FG. So the lock on it is on the back of the knife, and it interfaces with the blade also. It pops in this little groove in the back of the blade. See that little groove right there? Well, when you slide it down, this slides in and you pull it back to get it out of that groove. So this is the Snex lock. And then the Shark lock is basically kind of the same thing. Except it interfaces with the blade a little differently. They both have different, but these are very fidgety, and you can open them, but you have to unlock it by using this back part. But this one you can open with reverse flick, regular thumb stud, but you have to use this back. And then the Super lock is basically the same thing as the Snex lock. But the Vision FG Metal Complex says this is the best all-around EDC knife that you can get for the money. Not that you care what Metal Complex says, but he says it quite often that the Vision FG is probably the best little EDC knife that you can get. I don't ever carry mine, mainly because it's got the Damascus blade. Is what it is. But there's a couple more different locks. And then Cold Steel has got a bunch of locks, like the Triad, the Atlas lock. And the Triad has 3 points of contact. That's why it's called a Triad. But I want to show y'all the inside of this one. and why it's super cool and robust. So, and then why, compared to this one, why I think this one will last 10 times as long as this one. Yeah, the best one under $100, yeah. But really quick, I don't know that it'll be really quick, but let me take this one apart and show y'all. So it's got one heck of a mechanism in it. And I might not reassemble it on stream just because I don't want to mess around with it, but I am going to put the clip over here. So you have to take off this button on this side, or the back of the button, but I'm not sure which order you got to do it in. We'll figure it out. I hate when the screws don't come all the way out. Let me get my magnetic driver here that will pull that screw out. Well, they're titanium. Nope, they're metal. Alright. So the middle one is shorter than the other two. You can see where the clip's been hitting that knife, which sucks. I hate those two little marks on where the clip's been hitting. So these right here you have to take out to get into this knife. And I want to show you all this. And well, I don't remember which way I was supposed to do this. If I was supposed to wait and take the other side off first, but we're gonna go for it. Alright, so that's the little cover for this side, but here's this lock mechanism basically. So what happens is there is this little bar that goes down the middle of the knife, okay, and as the blade rotates, it pops down in between the blade, and it's magnetized to the button over here, and when you push the button pushes that rod out of the way, so the rod drops down in there and it locks up the knife. The bearings on this knife are huge. They're right in here. I could show you those too, but I don't want to take it apart further than I have to. But this is why it's a very robust lock, because you've got a steel bar that drops down in there and locks that blade solid, and it's plenty thick. There's thickness on that bar, the blade thickness, all that is what's holding it all together. So you'll see in a minute when I take this one apart why it's so much stronger and will last longer. And I don't want to break this down, but behind this little piece right here, there's a bearing that runs around the outside here. So the bearings on this knife are like this big, and they run right around the outside here. I'll try to find a breakdown video here in a second to show you the rest of it. But this bar is not attached to this button except by a magnet. So it's pretty cool. So to put it back together, not much trouble. You just put this cap back on and put these two screws back in. And I said I wasn't going to do this on video, but since I didn't get too far into it, I think I will go ahead and do this since I've got the screws laid out the way they go. And so you can see how this Vanker lock, the Vostede Vanker lock, how that interfaces the blade. We got that screw, And that screw. Turn your screws backwards until you feel them drop into place. You'll feel a little click, and that's how you know that you got the threads lined up right. And that's how you keep from cross-threading your knives. Turn them backwards until you feel like a little click noise and it drops into place. And that's how you know you've got the threads lined up properly. Alright, so got that one back together pretty quickly. So, back together. And I tightened that too tightly, evidently. Yep. So you can adjust the tightness of the knife by how tight you get these two little. There we go. All right. No side-to-side blade play. Total good lockup. Good to go. So that's the Vanker lock. Then on this one, it's got a much different lock mechanism. And this knife will fail. I know that TC said his hasn't, and he's had it 2 years, but I doubt he has used it very much, considering he's got a ton of knives just like me. But if you were, this would be your only knife and you carried it every day and opened it multiple times and hit this button multiple times, it will fail. And I will show you why. Because the lock mechanism on this one is totally different. So you got the blade. All right. So on this one, what you've got is you've got a basic liner lock. So consider this would just be a liner, and it's always under that spring tension I was talking about. So whenever you let it go, it wants to pop out. It wants to come out and go behind the blade, and that's what locks up the knife. So when you've got it in here and the blade is in place, this liner comes behind the blade and locks it in place. And then just like any liner lock, when it's out of the way, the blade can turn. When you let go of it, it pops back into place. Well, the way that they designed to get this liner back out of the way, so instead of on the smock here, where you've got that same kind of liner on the inside coming behind the blade to stop it, and you're pushing from the other side of the knife to push the liner out of the way, okay? Instead of that, what they did was they put the button on the same side as the liner. So the button to release the liner is on the same side of the liner, and they made a little teeter-tot piece that when you push it, it pulls down on the liner because you're pushing on the same side as the liner. So it is flexing right there at that little point, and that little point is attached by this screw right here. But you can see how thin that metal is right there, and it is constantly flexing right there at that little tab. And that little tab is tiny, and it is thin, super thin. So this little teeter-totter thing, when you press the button up, it presses the other end of that little thing down. But given enough presses, it's going to be like taking a piece of metal and bending it back and forth until it snaps. And it's going to snap right there. At some point, this knife will snap right there. And hopefully they offer those little pieces for replacement, because it does screw in. They made it to where it attaches to the liner so that you can replace it. But at some point, it is going to snap after so many button presses. And the lockup of this knife, whereas the Ankylo had that bar that locked the blade in the middle, this one's just a standard liner lock, basically. It's just got a liner here. Yeah, and that, I don't know. I haven't even checked that to see if it's steel or, it's definitely steel. It's not titanium. But titanium is actually kind of brittle and snaps pretty easy. So I'm not sure what metal they use there. But titanium will actually snap. It's pretty brittle. If you've ever had a piece of titanium wire and you bend it back and forth, you'll feel it snap. Like this titanium wire right here, if I was to bend this, it'll snap pretty easily. I mean, it's real hard to bend, but once you bend it, it does snap. But anyway, that is a second kind of center pivot lock knife. So let me put this one back together really quick, and we will look at Riot's solution to the same problem. And this one feels crunchy. Like this button just does not feel, I don't know. And that mechanism, to get that out of there, I'm going to show you, well, the spring that goes in there is kind of a weird looking little spring too, and it does not look very robust. I'm not knocking this knife at all. I love this knife. It's just that part is not going to be robust. And I like overbuilt things when it comes to a mechanism because that's kind of important. This button does not feel, it's hard to push and it feels kind of gritty. This one is super easy to push. And you can, it'll catch the knife on the way down. One thing I like about center pivot lock buttons is if you can tap the button and see it catching the blade. So this one you can do probably 7 or 8 little catches. Where this one, the button is so, I don't know, the gritty and like the way you push it, you can't do the same. It's not got as much, like I can only get about 3 or 4. Anyway, not a huge deal, but that lock is going to fail at some point where I just showed you at that little tab. You can't bend that back and forth 1,000 times and not expect it to break. But beautiful knife. The anno on this knife was great. The mission behind the knife company is great. I like the people. So I'm not trying to talk trash about it. It's just the mechanism, and they didn't make the mechanism. Their OEM did. So that was something. But let's check out the Riot solution to the same thing. And this one feels even smoother than but this one's so loose that once you break it loose, it doesn't catch the blade. The blade is broken loose because of the mechanism they use is not the same. And they have this extra safety lock right here that keeps you from being able to push the button in after you open it, or so after you open it, and you can lock this little lever out, and then the button can't get accidentally pushed and closed. So that's another little mechanism they have in there that neither one of the other ones have. And I have not taken this one apart, so I am not totally familiar with how this mechanism works, but I have faith I can get it back together, hopefully. And I'm going to start on this side because the pivot looks like comes off on this side. So that's the back screw. And get the lock bar in. Oh, there it goes. Okay, that's the screw for the clip insert. Let me get my magnetic one again. All right, that's the next one. That's the next one. And then we got the pivot. And it looks like there's some kind of spring pressure with this pivot. Oh. Ow. It poked me. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this spring in here. I can't even get the threads to line back up now. Yep, I might just totally ruin my Riot when I take it apart, because I have not done it before, but can't be scared. Got to get in here and see how it acts. And it definitely doesn't come apart on this side. So we're definitely supposed to take it out over here. But there is a springiness to it, and I should have assumed that. It's not just wanting to come out. I don't know what's going on with it. Aha. It's got a spring wrapped around. That's the spring mechanism wrapped around the button. I don't know if you can see that. So that's cool. At least I know now. Now, this pops off, and we have the little sliding lever, which just slides and keeps you from being able to depress the button. So that's a simple little mechanism. Check that out. So this little thing just slides over and keeps you from being able to push the pivot. But let's figure out how this, because there's no lockup now. So what is providing the lockup? This piece just comes right out. So now I'm confused at how this one even works. Alright, so is there a... Okay, so there must be a little groove. Wow. It's kind of wild. So it's basically like a plunge lock, I believe, but a center plunge. So let's see. Alright, so there's a screw here that goes around this little... Let me see where the lockup... Aha. This thing is pretty wild. Yeah, we're gonna have to look at somebody else's breakdown, because I don't want to mess up my knife, and I don't want to do it. I don't want to mess with it on video for the first time. So we're going to try to find someone else's explanation of how this lock works. I'm not scared of it, but I don't want to do it on video. Stuff just doesn't work out good on video. But this lock is totally dependent on the middle here with this piece. There is nothing else. This lock is has totally to do with the pivot in here. And I think it's like a plunge type lock, where when you press it in, it gets out of the way. And when it's not pressed in, it interfaces like a regular plunge lock would. But I'm not positive about that. Now I can't get it. Oh yeah, it's already back together. Well, that's pretty wild. There we go. Wow, that's a nice lock. But yeah, so it interfaces with the middle of the blade, just like the regular plunge lock interacts with the blade. So this plunge lock, that little round part, interfaces with the blade right there. Well, that pin does the same thing, except right in the middle of the blade. So there's a place on this plunge lock that interfaces with the middle of the blade, and when you push it out of the way, it lets the blade, but the lockup is super solid on this thing. And I'm sure there's a breakdown video. Like I said, I don't mind doing it, but my first time, I don't want it to be on video with y'all because I just never works out great. And we got other locks to look at anyway. I just wanted to show you how they were all definitely different. So you could see that that one had nothing to do with the same lock as this one or the same lock as this one. It was totally different. So they all three addressed that problem differently, and that's cool. I love new locks on knives. I'm so glad that Keep It Scale Stupid asked me that question last night, because it made me start thinking about all the different lock types and what I like and what I don't like, and I'm about to get some cold steels out here in a second so we can look at a few of those lock types. But this Riot, man, I don't know, something about it just feels so good. This Ankilo feels pretty good too, and if you push the button, it'll just drop all the way. But both of these, the buttons feel a lot smoother than this one. So this one, as you can see, it won't, you have to kind of shake it to get it to drop, and it bounces out. It's definitely not as smooth of a mechanism as both of these. So both of these just drop shut perfectly. Don't really bounce. Anyway, what did I leave the clip off of? Oh. Alrighty then. And this Riot also has all T8 screws, which I love. Alright. This is the PL-XT, if any of you were wanting one. They sell them on White Mountain Knives. And they're not that expensive. Great little knife. Alright, let me grab some cold steels real quick. We'll go over a few of those. We could look at some cold steel fixed blades, but they don't really have a lock mechanism, so that really doesn't fit into what we're talking about right this second. I've got a ton of cold steel fixed blades. I showed them not long ago on one of my streams, including this one, the Recon Tanto. All right. So here are some cold steels. We got a bunch of different locks in here, but I might as well bust out my small cold steel folder. My Espada XL, and it's another one of those where you really don't need to flip it, you just use some wrist. And that's my Espada XL, and I actually carried this thing for like 3 weeks. You wouldn't think it would be carryable, but it is. It fits right into my pocket. And the thing I love about this knife is the fact that you can grip it here, and it's got this place right here that locks you in, so you can really get good on it here. And then you can also hold it back here between these two and swing it like a like a chop, like a sword, like a. You can really chop wood with it. But this is one of their. I carried it to work for like 3 weeks. Let me show you, just so y'all don't think I'm lying. Let me stand up and put it in my dress pants pocket. Pull up my pants. And let me show you my phone camera. All right. So, dang it, I can't aim the camera right. Hold on. It's so hard to... All right. Let me see if I can get this to come up. So right here, you can see it's in my dress pants pocket. It's kind of sideways, but it goes all the way in there, and that's the only part sticking out. And that's not nearly as big as you think it is sticking out. I'll show you once I take it out of my pocket. I can't set up a camera right now to show you properly, but it's only this much, so it was only that much sticking out. And this went down into my pocket, so only that much. So not much. I mean, I don't know, it's not terrible. I did carry it. But the triad lock, if you don't know about the triad lock, let me just show a breakdown of it really quick, because it's so much easier to show a picture of it. Alright. Cold steel triad lock. So here's how the triad lock works. So the back bar that you press down to unlock the knife interfaces at 3 points. The pin, the stop pin, the face of the blade down at the bottom, and the face. You can see how it works there. So let me see if I can show you right here. So this little bar goes down in. It goes down in this place in the, hold on. It goes down in this place in the blade, and it also touches this pin. The pin is there, and the pin stops the blade from going back. So the pin hits the back of the blade. This interfaces with that pocket. Anyway, it's a very, very strong lock, and that's the triad lock. Then you've got the Atlas lock, like on my AD10. Actually, no, that's a triad. Sorry. So the AD10 has the same triad. So it's got this place in the blade. It's got the pin the blade sits against. Then it's got this lock that goes down in there and catches in this place in the blade. Alright, so that's the Triad. Then you got the Scorpion lock, which is a totally weird lock that I hate. But the Scorpion lock is on the 8015s. And this is it right here. So when you open it up, this little bar drops down into the blade right there. And as long as you're applying pressure to that point, it won't come out. But if you're not applying pressure to that point, it will pop out. So it is not my favorite lock type. Morning, Fred. So this one's called a Scorpion lock because it rides the back of the blade and it looks like that's a Scorpion lock on the 8015. So you got, then you have hold on. I'm trying to think of all the cold steel locks because there's so many of them. This is a super cool cold steel knife if y'all don't have it. The Tough Light. But this one is a great little comfortable utility knife. It's called the Tough Light. It's only it's only tip down carry, so I don't like that about it. Yeah, so you got the Atlas. Hold on, I'm trying to find the I've got the, hold on just a second. I got a bunch of cold steels, so. Oh, this is a cool lock that they have too. This is on their this is one of their knives that's got a different lock too. And this is a weird lock on this one. So when you open this one, there's a bar right here going down the back of the blade, and it locks into this place right here on the blade. And to get it, you have to pull. It's dangerous, but you can see the spring back here. You pull on the lanyard and then it'll close. And this is called the Bushman or something? Bush something. But this has got a whole different lock. So this slides down the back of the blade and locks in, like I said, to right there. So you can see that piece of metal that goes all the way down to the back. There's a little channel for it all the way down the back. And it's out right now, but you can see it pop into place whenever I lock the knife out. See how that went in? Because it locked into place. And this one is kind of like you have to pull, you have to either push with your finger on this and grab it right here and pull this out to get it to close. Or you can just pull the lanyard. So that's a different lock. Then you got where is the Engage? Oh, then they have this one, which is like a slip joint. So this one has a lock that's on the back here, and it's a slip joint. It stops at that point, and then it stops there. But this is just their version of a slip joint, so that's not really a lock per se. Where is my Engage? Because the Engage has the, aha, here it is. So this is the Engage. And this has the Atlas lock. So this one has like the shark lock, like the other two I showed, like this one, and like this one, the Snex lock, super lock. Basically the same kind of lock as it. So this one locks into place, and then you pull this back to unlock it. So that's the engage. And I love the Cold Steel Voyagers. So these are great knives. I've got all 4 of the blade shapes of them. The Formax Scout has got the same. I'm trying to think here if there's any other lock styles. This is a super cool knife that they make too. The Raja. This is the Raja 2 maybe, and then the Raja 3 is a super cool little knife. It's a lot smaller, but it's a lot more practical. And I've got it too. Yeah, so that one's a lot closer to a regular size knife. I mean, that is a regular size knife. But that one's an awesome little knife to carry. These have the wave guide. If you're not familiar with that either, keep it scale stupid. These things right here are so when you pull it out of your pocket, the knife automatically opens. That's what's on this one too. It's an Emerson wave technology. And a lot of Cold Steels have that. I guess that's pretty much. I'm wondering if the Luzon has a different lock too. So the Luzon is just a liner lock. So as you can see, it's just got a liner that goes behind the blade. And the reason they're called nested liners instead of a regular liner is because a left-handed person is not going to press on the liner. But the Luzon large, this is the tie light. This isn't even the Luzon. This is the Luzon, sorry. But it's just a liner lock too. But this one does have a little secondary lock where you can slide this forward and then you can't push the liner. So normally to unlock it, you have to push this liner out of the way. And when you push this bar forward, it doesn't allow you to press the liner, so it's like a safety. So they make the Luzon in I guess an extra large, like this size. And then they also make it in a more manageable size. So I think this is the medium. So the wave technology, let me just show you a video of that because I can't show you on camera. But a ton of these knives have that wave technology, including this one. So this right here is that same wave. So, I can show you. So when you got a pocket like this, and you got the knife in your pocket, okay? Let me see if I can show you. Hold on, let me get both hands. All right, so you're pulling this knife out of your pocket. Pretend this is in your pocket. As you're pulling it out, you let that tab catch on the pocket. Hold on. You let that tab catch on the pocket, and as you're pulling it out, it automatically opens the knife. So you see that little tab right there? As you're pulling it out, well, that's a terrible, you can't see what I'm doing. Right here, you get that little tab caught on the outside of your pocket, and then as you keep pulling it, it pops the blade open automatically as you pull it out of your pocket. So they all have, so this little thing is the same way. So if this is in the pocket, see this little thing right here? This catches on both sides of your pocket and it automatically opens the knife as you pull it out. See how I'm just pulling the knife out and it's catching and opening the knife. So if this was in my pocket and I just go to rip it out, it's going to open it. So that catches on the inside of your pocket and it opens it as you... Anyway, I was able to show it. I forgot I had my little cut off pocket. But yeah, there's lots of different lock types. I would say probably more than 20, probably 50 if you really get down to it. And these are just a few of them. But some of these other cold steels here have different lock mechanisms too. And then all of these have, some of these have different lock mechanisms too. And then these Voyagers are super nice, and they all, I've got the, like these are big nice knives, like they fit my hands great. But the Voyager's a decently sized knife. It's not, I mean it is pretty dang big, but it'll fit in your pocket a lot easier than that, but they make super cool blade shapes too. So they got the recurve. These are all the Voyagers. They got the Tanto and the recurve, and then they got the serrated recurve, which is a heck of a blade, and then they got the drop point, which is one of my favorites. But the Voyagers are cool knives. I've got 4 of those. But the Formax Scout is one of the beefiest knives. If you watch Joe X, if you've ever watched any Joe X videos, watch his video on the Formax Scout. It's super cool. It's one of the only knives that makes it to the end of his test. And it's not that much bigger than an AD-10. So the Formax Scout is a beefy, big boy though. I hate these cases. But here's my AD-10, and here's the Formax Scout. So you can see it's a pretty stout knife. So it's pretty close to the Formax Scout. They both have the same lock. Oh yeah, tomorrow, that reminds me, Ron, thank you. Tomorrow is going to be the video to where you enter the giveaway for episode 150. No, these are not clones. Keep it scale, stupid. A couple of them are, but most of them are real. They all came from Amazon. They don't, I don't even think they make some of the, like the Espada XL, I don't even think they make a clone of it. Most all my cold steels are real though. I've got a Talwar, which is a weird one. Oh, and if you want a nice cold steel to check out, the Code 4 is a super nice one. This is real too, of course. But this is a super nice knife to try out first. The Code 4, it's super slim and like nice and rounded. And they sell all these on Amazon. These are not clones though. For the most part. Like I said, there's a couple of weird ones in here, like the Talwar and This is the Talwar, which is a weird, it's got that wave guide. This one is a clone, but it's just a weird one that I didn't really want, but I wanted to see what it was about. So I did buy a clone of it. Oh, and then this one's a clone. This is another one, the Immortal. I don't know, it's a weird one too. Dang it. But it's like a, I don't know, it's not my blade shape. So this one's a clone too. And you can tell they look and feel like clones. And the Recon 1 is another good one. The Ultimate Hunter, another good one. Anyway, I hope that lets some people know about some of the different lock types that are available. But like I said, my favorite is probably just a good old frame lock. They're the easiest to maneuver. I don't know. This Ankylo, this center pivot button locks, like both of these, this knife is so smooth and so is this one. They're both just so smooth. I don't know how strong the lock is, so that's the part I don't know. Whereas I know a frame lock. And this Anthem, that coil spring lock is pretty dang nice too. Because the action on this thing is just super sick. So fun to play with. And it's so solid. The lockup is so nice on this integral. So this is an integral where it's all one piece. So that's why it can't have those Omega springs, because they couldn't get them in there. But the good old Spyderco compression lock is a great lock too. And it's super easy to use. Get to. And like I said, the new Kunwu is going to have the Verta lock, which is the same kind of lock as this. That new Geronimo that we looked at has basically got the same kind of lock as the Spyderco. Like it's a compression lock. But one of the main, I can't find a liner lock. Let me see if I can. So they make liner locks that are not nested. I know when you hear me say nested, so nested means that the liner lock is not on the outside of the scales. So there are some knives that are like frame locks but have a liner that goes to the outside of the scales, and you can see it out here. And so left-handed people, when they're holding the knife, they'll be applying pressure on the liner sometimes, and it's hard for them to they can lock themselves out. It's harder to close. But when they're nested, they're not putting pressure on it, so they're easier for lefties to use. I could grab an old Amazon knife and show you. But nested is a lot cleaner look. It cleans up this side of the scales too. I'm guessing like some of my, well, I was trying to find one here. Let's see. Most of them are nested nowadays. Yeah, I don't see any in here. What about nope, they're all nested. Oh well. the purple knife on my table. Well, I don't have a purple knife on my table, but this is a button lock, if that's what you're talking about. Yeah, this is a button lock. But this is a liner lock, but it's a nested liner too. I don't know what purple knife. This one's nested also. I don't know. I don't see one. It used to be a lot more common than it is nowadays. People seem to try to hide. It cleans up the lines a lot. Yeah, I can't find any. And then here's some more of those. This is another, that's a plunge lock. Sorry, I'm looking at a few more knife locks. So this one is a plunge lock too. This is a nice titanium Y-start with a cool blade shape, but it's got the plunge lock too. But it just, I mean, this thing is so loose and nice. This one's got nice blade steel too. I think it's M390. Yeah, it's got M390 blade steel. Yeah, that one's got an M390 blade in it too. I put the M390 blade in this one. And man, the action on this thing is just sick. So easy to close. Yeah, M390 blade steel. Alright guys, I think that's about long enough for today. Appreciate y'all being here and joining me in the video today. Before we leave, let's go look at the drop point. See if there's any super cool fixies upcoming. The mini war goat, let's check that out. Alright. The cub. Where's the cub? Okay, there's the cub. So they got it with a Scandi grind, or it looks like a flat grind. Yeah, that's a super cool looking knife. $295. Does it drop? It drops today. He's going to have some more available. The Bruin, Scandi grind and regular grind, going to drop today. That's cool. RMJ Tactical Snuggles. Wow, that's a crazy Warhammer breaching tool. Wow. Some crazy weapons nowadays. Three Rivers, Tag Along, Burton Designs, Tactical Warren. Let's see that one. 350 shipped. Alright, the Pocket Mule. Alright. Sparrow 7. Fixed blade. Lynch Blade, Sparrow 7. CPM 154. That's a nice looking knife. I would have to say I like that knife. For some reason I like knives where the knife blade sits down lower than your hand for camping and stuff. Like you could cut up food good with that one. You could do all kinds of stuff. I just like that staggered where your hand, where the blade will touch the surface without your hand hitting. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but Rainy Day Forge. It's a nice looking knife too. Alright, Bastinelli Creations. I believe we looked at that is definitely a fighting knife. Or a carpet knife. Barrel Falls Blade Works, 7-inch Riptide. Wow. Chef's knife. That's a pretty knife. Folding knives. Alright guys. Like I said, I appreciate you being here today. Yeah, the Spyderco is kind of like that. The Spidey Chef. So is the the Tac Ray makes a couple of folding kitchen knives that are like that too. But I guess we're going to end it out here. Appreciate y'all joining me. We'll be here again tomorrow for the same thing. Don't forget, clones are life. But yet, blades are life. Knives are life. Clones are life. Every morning, 8 a.m. If you're here tomorrow, I'm going to get you to comment on a video to be entered into the giveaway for episode 150. So 2 days for that until that giveaway, and then tomorrow will be the stream where you have to comment, or where I'll announce you have to comment. You can do it anytime after that, between that and episode 150. Oh, the U.S. Mint drops a one-of-a-kind Army medal today. Yeah, these are my channel mascots. This is Professor Hackett and Nedge. I'm going to make a posable figure of Nedge. I'm going to 3D print a posable figure to sell, to hold knives for pictures. But Nedge is my channel mascot. Yeah, I can't wait to change it to like bug outs and proteans and all kinds of stuff. Waylon, appreciate you, buddy. Yeah, I can't wait to go in there and make it real knives where it's recognizable. The U.S. Mint website, like really? You talking about minted coins or medals? I'm not. U.S. Mint. American Eagle. Oh, here's the Eagle 1 ounce proof. $105. June 13th at 12 noon Eastern Time, or 11. So in 1 hour. Huh. household order limit, one. One per household. 250th anniversary. Keep it scale stupid? Yeah, I'll probably miss out. I hate to be that guy, but I don't think I'll order one of these. I'm not into coins. Although that is a beautiful coin. But how much is 1 ounce of silver worth? What's the melt value? 1 troy ounce. So it's $36 for the melt value of that coin. So I don't want to pay 3 times melt for that coin, because it's only got $36 worth of silver in it. But that is a beautiful coin, no doubt. I just and that's super cool that you collect them. I'm not dogging you, I'm just not into coins. But I did throw it out there for everybody to see, so if you are interested in coins, go pick you up one of these today in about 45 minutes. It is beautiful. And it does, the minting on it is super clean too. Know what that little, yeah, that's super cool. Well, alright guys, I'm gonna get out of here. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a great one. And yep, I love y'all, appreciate y'all.